Welcome to Mission Mill Museum, a historical treasure right here in the central part of Salem. Here at the museum we interpret three important time periods in Oregon's history. That starts out with the Missionary time period. This is the time period prior to the coming of the Oregon Trail, that is centering around the Methodist mission. The buildings that we have here from that time period include Jason Lee's house and the Methodist parsonage. Both of them built in 1841, making them arguably the oldest wooden structures in Oregon that are still standing. Now from the pioneer time period, we have John Boone house, who was a leading entrepreneur in Salem. His house built in 1847, and the Pleasant Grove Presbyterian Church, the very first Presbyterian church built in Oregon, in the Almsville area to be exact. This is going to be introduced to you all by a very special person. John Boone's own daughter, Melinda Boone, who is brought to us by a very special individual who is one of our teenage interpretive guides. So please, let's go meet her.
Hi, my name is Melinda Boone, and this behind me here is the house I grew up in. In 1847, my father, John D. Boone, built this house. We came over on the Oregon Trail, and my father was the first Oregon treasurer. I grew up here in Oregon, and at the location of the Boone Treasury Building. And when I was an adult, I married Amos Morgan, and we happily had three children. Our children all moved away to the East Coast, but we stayed here in Portland. We stayed here and lived in Portland. I died at the age of 71 in Portland in 1970. We are in the kitchen of the Boone house. This was not connected to the real house. This was actually another building because they didn't want to burn down the house too if the kitchen caught on fire because of the cooking. And here we have a wood-burning stove. This is the type of stuff that they would have had. They would have had irons like that. What they do is they would lay them on the stove, and when they got hot enough, they would take them off and they would use them for their clothes. So, and each iron weighs quite a lot of weight in there because they're cast iron too, just like the stove. And they would cook a lot of their food in here, but some of it would be done outside. This here is a curling iron from the 1800s. And it's not like your regular curling iron. What you would do is you would set it on your stove and let it heat up, and then you would curl your hair. So that's what it was like back then.
This is our Oregon Sesquicentennial exhibit. It explores Oregon's years prior to statehood. We're looking at the various events, people, and historical trends that led to Oregon becoming a state. Now, in section 1, we look at the Willamette Valley when it was inhabited by native peoples, predominantly the Kalapuya, and also what they did with the land. And in section 2, we look at outsiders starting to come in, the explorers, the trappers, the missionaries, the settlers, the diseases that they brought, that wreaked havoc amongst the Kalapuya, and of course how that all led to the Oregon Trail. In section 3, we look at how these people who were creating a new society decided what their future was going to be, and their steps that they took to become first a provisional territory, then a territory, and then eventually Oregon became a state. And in section 4, we ask a question is, what would you like to see to happen with Oregon in the next 150 years? And people can actually leave cards and information about what their dreams and aspirations for Oregon in the next 150 years would be. And we've gotten some really interesting answers. It's been a great way that people can contribute to the exhibit.
The Thomas K. Woolen Mill really shows us what the Industrial Revolution was able to do. And I always like to stop here at our spinning mule, because a really good spinner with a spinning wheel, and I mean a really good spinner, could only spin 1 pound of wool a day. This machine could spin almost 1,500 pounds of wool a day, And my father, Thomas Lister Kay, had 2 of these. The power looms that we are using in this mill use a shuttle that's reinforced on both ends, and it goes across the machine at 126 times a minute. I'm going to start it and see if you can check.
Mission Mill Museum is not only about the past, but it's also about the present and the future. And we're here on the 4th floor of the mill building. And up here is our Textile Learning Center, where we have a Weavers Guild that demonstrates the art of weaving, which is a vibrant tradition, and also gives classes for those who like to learn how to weave. And besides weaving, we also have others that do the knitting, the spinning, the quilting, and other fiber art traditions. I hope you've enjoyed your stay here at Mission Mill Museum. In addition to the wonderful historical artifacts and buildings and guides that we have here, we have this wonderful 5-acre campus filled with ducks and picnic benches, wonderful flowers and other vegetation, including a historic herb garden. So I hope you get to come and enjoy that. In addition, we have a wonderful shop, Dinner and Soleil, with gift ideas as well as museum souvenirs. And a cafe, Mission Mill Cafe, that serves quiches, sandwiches, homemade soups, and some wonderful, wonderful menu of other treats. And, of course, we have our events throughout the year, our lecture series, our family fun Saturdays, our exhibit openings, and 2 special events, one that celebrates the woolen industry, are called Sheep to Shawl, that occurs every May. And in the holiday season, we have Magic at the Mill, where all these buildings and these plants and trees are lit up by holiday lights. We have carolers and Christmas cheer. So I hope you get to come and enjoy that. Please come on down the mill soon.